Picture this. You have done everything by the book, you hit the gym hard, and now your body looks better than ever. You focused on building your career, and your bank account is growing. You drive a nice car, you wear sharp, expensive clothes. Overall, on paper, you are everything the dating experts out there say women want. But something is off. When you talk to women, they are polite, they smile, but they are not captivated. They agree to go on dates, but they are never the ones to text first. You feel like you are always the one putting in the effort, always straining, while they maintain an invisible distance you just cannot break through. Meanwhile, you look over at your best friend, a guy who lives in a rented studio apartment, drives an old car, completely unimpressive on paper, and yet women are obsessed with him. They text him constantly, they pursue him intensely. They are willing to do anything just to get his attention. You cannot understand it. What does he have that you do not? Why? What if I told you that everything you have been taught about female attraction is not just wrong, but completely backward? What if I told you that the very things you think are making you attractive are actually silently killing women's desire for you? In this video, we will decode this entire psychological mechanism together. First, we will expose the biggest lie that has been sold to men for decades. I will reveal to you the three-tiered psychological model that a woman's brain uses to rank your value in the first 5 seconds. And most importantly, at the end of the video, I will give you a detailed blueprint to rebuild your internal state from the ground up, a state that makes you naturally magnetic without even trying. Pay very close attention, because when you understand these principles, you will never look at the world the same way again. Because in the modern world, society has taught us incorrectly about the nature of value. It is not in the things you own, it is in who you are when all of those things are taken away. Your inner groundedness is the rarest and most desirable asset, something that money cannot buy and hardship cannot destroy, and that scarcity is the source of all true attraction. So, what is the biggest lie society has sold us? It is what I call the checklist myth. You have surely heard of it. They say that if you tick enough boxes on an invisible list, women will automatically be attracted. Have a great body, check. Have a good job, check. Have a lot of money, check. As if a woman's affection is a prize at the end of a material accumulation race. But I'm here to tell you, that is a lie. A sophisticated lie that has caused countless men to waste years only to be met with disappointment and bitterness. They tell us to focus on money, status, muscles, they call it external value. And is not wrong, those things do have value, but they are just a shell that can be shiny, can be impressive, but is completely hollow if it does not contain something far more important: internal value. That is your peace, your self-acceptance, your groundedness from the core of your being. Let me give you an easy-to-imagine example. Picture this. You give a man who has always been insecure and has low self-esteem $5 million. He will not suddenly become confident. He will simply become an insecure man, sitting in a luxury car. Your resume can lie. The clothes you wear can lie. But your energy never does. And women, especially high-value women, do not read your resume when they meet you. They read your energy. And this brings us to a core truth. The difference between two types of confidence. The confidence that most people pursue is conditional confidence. It comes from external achievements. It is fragile. It can be taken away at any moment your job has a problem or when you meet another man who's richer. That confidence is like a house built on sand. But there is another type of confidence. A type that comes from completely accepting who you are. Right now. Right here. Without any conditions. It comes from knowing that your worth does not depend on your bank balance or the number of muscles on your body. That is unconditional confidence. It is as solid as a diamond. And that is what they truly crave at the deepest instinctual level. The truly addictive men I've ever met, they do not play by society's rules. They do not chase the goals that others have programmed for them. They create their own rules of the game. They live by their own value compass. And it is that unique, inimitable authenticity that becomes a magnet in a world full of pale imitations. So if external achievements are not the final answer, then how does her brain actually measure your value so quickly? The answer lies in a 5-second psychological test that you do not even know you are taking. So what is this 5-second psychological test that you do not even know you are taking? How does it work? Forget all the complex theories you have ever heard. This psychological mechanism, in essence, is as simple as this. A woman only becomes truly addicted when she perceives a man's value to be significantly higher than her own. Pay attention to the word I just emphasized. Perceives. This is the most important keyword you need to remember. It is not objective truth. Your value in her eyes is not measured by the number in your bank account, but by the reality created in her mind in that very moment. And here's how it happens. In the first 5 seconds of meeting you, before you can even say a complete sentence, her brain has automatically placed you into one of two invisible boxes. There is no third option. The first box is labeled above me. He has a higher value. His energy radiates confidence, groundedness, and needs no one's approval. The second box is labeled below me. He is seeking my approval. He is trying to impress me. And here's the brutal truth. If you are placed in the above me box, her addiction process towards you is activated. But if you are placed in the below me box, you have fallen into the death spiral of validation. The game is over before it even began, because every effort you make to prove you are worthy actually sends only one signal. You do not believe you are worthy to begin with. And here's the magical thing that happens afterward, when you successfully establish this high-value frame. A very powerful psychological effect called the halo effect is activated. What does this mean? It means she will unconsciously attribute to you all the other positive qualities she desires. Intelligent, humorous, trustworthy, competent. All of those things are assumed to be true in her head. All because your initial energy has shaped her entire perception of who you are. You do not have to prove each one. Your energy has already done it for you. This sounds powerful, does it not? But how do you build an unbreakable high-value frame? How do you ensure you are always placed in the right box? It is not luck, nor is it acting. It is supported by 3 invisible pillars of your internal state. And now, we will build them together, one by one. Now, we will get into the most important part. The 3 invisible pillars that support a man's entire value frame. Think of these as the foundation of a skyscraper. Without them, everything else will collapse. The first pillar is presence. Or as I like to call it, the forgotten superpower in the modern world. Be honest with yourself. When was the last time you talked to someone without your mind wandering to the past, worrying about the future, or planning your next move? True attraction is not about saying fancy words. It is about how you listen. In a world screaming for attention, with thousands of notifications and endless news feeds, the ability to be 100% present with the person in front of you is one of the most precious and rare gifts you can give. When you truly listen, without judgment, without thinking about what you will say next, but simply being there with her, you create a safe space, an oasis of calm, a space where she feels seen, truly seen. And that feeling of it is addictive. It makes her want to be near you just to experience that sense of peace again. The second pillar is stoicism and non-reactivity. This is the rock in the storm principle. Imagine you are a solid rock in the middle of the ocean. Around you, the weather is always changing. Waves can be gentle, storms can rage. When she praises you, says sweet things, that is just a gentle wave caressing you. You feel it, you appreciate it. But you do not get overly excited. You are not carried away by it. When she tests you, criticizes you, or even acts distant, that is a storm brewing. You are aware of it, but you are not fazed. You are not submerged by her emotions or your own. You are the rock. Her emotional storm can rage around you, but your center remains firm, unmoving. This emotional stability, in a world full of chaos and insecurity, is one of the most attractive masculine qualities. It is a non-verbal signal of strength and reliability. And this leads us to the final and most powerful pillar. The third pillar, the emotional center of gravity. This is the becoming the sun principle. Most people in this world live like planets. They are pulled into the emotional orbits of others. A criticism from someone can throw their whole day off course. A compliment can send them soaring to the clouds. They depend on external sources to feel stable. But a high-value man is different. He is not a planet. He is the sun. He's his own emotional center of gravity. He generates his own light and warmth from within. His peace creates a powerful gravitational pull, drawing others into his orbit of peace, not the other way around. He's not affected by her mood, but his stability has the power to calm her mood. This is the pinnacle of self-mastery. Once you have firmly built these three pillars, you have an unbreakable foundation. And now you are ready for the higher level dynamics, the counterintuitive truths, the paradoxes that 99% of men out there will never understand. So you have a solid foundation, but to truly master this game, we need to delve into the higher level dynamics, the counterintuitive truths, the paradoxes that 99% of men out there will never understand because they go completely against what they have been taught. The first paradox, the power of not making sex the end goal. Do you want to know the fastest, most certain way to give all your power to a woman? It is simple. Make sex your number one goal. When you do that, your happiness and self-worth depend entirely on her decision. She becomes the gatekeeper to your emotions. And women, they can sense that desperation from miles away. But when your goal changes, when you are genuinely interested in creating a real connection, a fun conversation, or simply enjoying a pleasant moment with her, you take back all the power. You are no longer dependent on her for validation. And paradoxically, it is that very non-dependence that makes her more sexually attracted to you than ever before. The second paradox, subtle pre-selection. This is not about you boasting I have a lot of girls after me or intentionally flirting with others in front of her. That is the act of amateurs, and it just shows you are trying too hard. Real pre-selection is an energy. It is the energy that radiates from a man who has many options, but is not desperate to show or to use them. It is the quiet confidence of someone who knows he is desired, not someone trying to prove he is desired. This energy immediately triggers her competitive instincts and curiosity. A question will pop into her head. What do other women see in him that I do not? And that curiosity is the first door to addiction. And the third and most profound paradox, the power of mystery. A man who does not react, does not seek validation, is not easily read. It's a captivating puzzle. When you do not display all your thoughts, all your emotions, you create an information gap in her mind, and the human brain by its nature hates a vacuum. To fill it, she has no choice but to think about you. What is he thinking? Why did he say that? Does he really like me? Every moment she spends thinking about you is an emotional investment. The more the investment, the stronger the bond. And a strong bond is the path to addiction. Ultimately, all of this comes down to an invisible energy dance between masculine and feminine energy. Picture this. Stable masculine energy is the frame, the leadership, the presence, and direction. While feminine energy is the flow, the expression, the emotion, and reception. When a man is solid in his masculine frame, he allows the woman to be free and safe to flow in that dance. And this beautiful harmony, it creates a magic that cannot be described in words. All this theory is wonderful and enlightening, but how do you make it a reality in your own life? Where do you start? This is not a switch you can just flip on. This is a transformation process. And here is the exact blueprint for that process. This is not a switch you can just flip on. This is a transformation process. And here is the exact blueprint for that process. The first step, and also the most difficult, is the motivation audit. Take a piece of paper and a pen and question yourself ruthlessly. Write down everything you are pursuing, the job you are doing, your financial goals, your workout routine, the skills you are learning, everything. Next to each item, answer this question honestly. Am I doing this because I truly want to, or because I want the approval of others? Do I go to the gym to be healthy and love myself, or to impress women? Do I make money to have freedom, or to prove I am better than others? Be honest with yourself. This is the first step to breaking the chains. Step 2. Build a self-validation machine. Instead of waiting for praise from the outside to feel good, learn to be the source of your own validation. Every day, take 1 minute to acknowledge your efforts, no matter how small. Tell yourself, I did well today. I kept the promise I made to myself. When you are no longer hungry for external validation, you will never act from a place of neediness again. Step 3. Cultivate presence and authenticity. This is a practical exercise. In your upcoming conversations, set a single goal. Put your phone down, stop calculating what to say next, and just be there. Listen to understand, not to reply. Be yourself with all your awkwardness and imperfections. Authenticity has a stronger connective power than any fancy words. Step 4. Forge resilience through challenge. Do not avoid pressure. Welcome it. Practice meditation for just 5 minutes a day to observe your emotions come and go without being swept away by them. Proactively face situations that make you slightly uncomfortable. Welcome criticism as a free opportunity to practice non-reactivity. Strength is not born from comfort. It is forged in fire. And finally, step 5. The most important, most transformative step. It is the death of the old self. Understand that this process is not just about building new habits. It is deeper than that. This is about you allowing your old self, the weak self, the one who always needed validation from others, the self who was always afraid of rejection, of being judged, to die. You must actively let go of the old person to welcome a new version. Only then will the strongest, most sovereign, and most authentic version of you have the space to be truly born. Before we end, I need to give one final and most important warning. The knowledge I have shared with you today is like a double-edged sword. It is very powerful, and power always comes with responsibility. Use it to become a better man, to build sincere and deep connections. Never use it to manipulate or hurt others. Always remember that. So what is the final secret, after all, to making women addicted to you? It is not a technique or a magic spell. The secret is to become so whole in yourself that you do not need anyone else to complete you. When you are the source of your own happiness, your own peace, and your own validation, you automatically become something that others desire to have in their lives. And finally, as you walk this journey, you will realize that the greatest reward is not the attention of women. That is just a byproduct. The greatest, most precious reward is freedom. Freedom from the judgment of others. Freedom from the need for validation. Freedom from the negative emotions that once bound you. That is the highest form of power and peace a man can achieve in his life. This journey, I have to be honest, is not easy. It requires extraordinary courage to face the hidden corners within yourself, but it is absolutely worth it. And if you are truly serious about this journey, if you are ready not to walk it alone, then hit the subscribe button. This is not just about following a channel. This is your commitment to yourself that you will continue on this path to become the most authentic and powerful version of yourself.